Welcome to the Future of Accounting, Take Control Virtual Conference Preview, brought to you by the Controllers Council. My name is Neil Brown, your host and moderator today, and I'm also the Executive Director of the Controllers Council. And I'm very pleased to introduce our partner and sponsor, FloQast, an accounting transformation platform created by accountants for accountants, enabling organizations to automate a variety of accounting operations, trusted by more than 3,000 global accounting teams. With FloQast, teams can utilize the latest advancements in AI technology to manage aspects of the close, reduce compliance burden, stay audit ready, improve accuracy, visibility, and collaboration. FloQast is consistently rated #1 across all review sites. Learn more at flowcast.com. The Take Control conference, as referenced on this slide, is a 2-day virtual conference coming up in a couple of weeks on September 16th and 17th, and it's focused on the future of corporate accounting. Register at flowcast.com/takecontrol. And I'm very pleased to announce that Controllers Council and FloQast and the AICPA is in a partnership for our Controllers for a Cause CPA Scholarship Fund. This definitely supports the mission of the Controllers Council, and that is to build awareness of the amazing career opportunities in corporate accounting that are financially rewarding and fast-track career path to the C-suite. So with that, I'm very pleased to introduce our subject matter experts and panelists, Nicole Lawler and Jaysen Dyal. Nicole Lawler is a marketing professional with deep expertise in finance and AI software industries, a proven track record in go-to-market strategy, content creation, and driving impactful marketing initiatives. Nicole's held roles at leading companies like FloQast, LogMeIn, and PTC. She's passionate about leveraging innovative marketing strategies to support business growth and digital transformation. Nicole holds a Bachelor of Science in Marketing, International Business, and Economics from the University of New Hampshire. And Nicole, I believe you're from the Boston area, is that correct?
I am, yes.
Okay, well, welcome.
Thank
and
you.
Jaysen, yeah, thanks. Jaysen Dyal is Product Marketing Manager at FloQast, and prior to joining that team, he spent 6 years as an auditor at Linquist and later Armanino, making the switch and moving to LA-based tech company Jam City as a technical accounting and reporting manager, where he first became acquainted with FloQast. Jaysen earned a master's in accounting from California State University, East Bay, and resides in Los Angeles with his wife. Nicole and Jaysen, welcome.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you so much for having us.
Let's get right to our questions then, and if we want to come on to the video, first, please share what Take Control as a conference theme means, and tell us a bit about an overview of the conference. Nicole, I think you were going to take that.
Yeah, I'd love to. Thank you, Neil. So Take Control is FloQast's annual virtual conference, and it's really designed specifically for accounting and finance professionals. And the theme, Take Control, is all about empowering accountants to embrace innovation and really take the lead in driving change within their organizations, especially with all the advancements in technology that are going on, like AI. And as I mentioned, the accounting profession is really evolving rapidly, as you all see, and I know you live this day to day, especially with the rise of AI. And this conference is our way of helping accountants not just adapt to these changes, but actually own the narrative around the critical role that they play in shaping the future of accounting and the industry in general, and really putting them in the driver's seat of their own organization. And it's also about showing them how they can step into a leadership position and really up-level themselves and leverage innovation to do so, and really show how they're making impacts in the organization. So the conference itself, I probably should have started with that. It runs 2 days. It's 2 half days because we know taking a whole day off of work can sometimes be hard. It's taking place on September 17th and 18th. And you can see the full agenda at flowcast.com/takecontrol. But I know Jaysen will touch upon some of the major sessions that are going to take place. And this year, we really worked hard to bring together a lot of different types of speakers from top organizations and accounting firms, and those that are at organizations that are really doing innovative things in accounting. And then we also are lucky enough to have some of our amazing customers who are going to come on and tell their transformation stories and how they really utilize FloQast to help them automate workflows and get them starting using AI. We also have a panel with CFOs from leading firms. We have FloQast investors on different sessions, as well as some of our great partners. And then a major highlight this year, and sorry, Jaysen, I'm going to steal the thunder on this one, is we do have a celebrity keynote speaker who's going to have a conversation with our CEO. And the celebrity is Tony Hawk. So yes, the world's most famous skateboarder is going to be at TakeControl this year, and we're really excited about it. I've been lucky enough to be on a few planning calls with him, and he is just the nicest, chillest person. He's exactly what you would expect.
Neat. All right, well, thanks for that, Nicole. And so let's get to right into it here. And automation and AI are, as you mentioned, key topics. What are some of the top use cases in the accounting back office? Jaysen, do you want to start with that?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Neil, and thanks for having us again. I think automation and AI are two very big buzzwords nowadays. I'll start with AI since it kind of takes precedence. When you look at AI, there almost is this feeling of where do you even start? There's use cases across so many areas of accounting. In those great 6 months that I was doing accounting, it was overwhelming. And so there's this abyss that exists with where you start with AI. At FloQast, we believe that attacking the most manual and the most repetitive processes is where you have an opportunity to really build out the agentic AI use case. The idea being that AI is going to elevate the way you work. I think the profession is due for a sort of transformation in its role. The talent gap speaks to it, and just the way that accountants work. And so those manual processes, things like calculating and recording accruals, or performing cost allocations, booking journal entries, really applying agentic AI in those very manual yet very repetitive processes is a great place to start. Then you have other areas of automation outside of those processes, right? I think FloQast started since our co-founders were ex-accountants, both CPAs, and their idea was the most manual and the most repetitive aspect of an account's day-to-day is that close. And so how do you achieve a more impactful close? The future state of where we're always moving towards is achieving a continuous close, where things like reconciliations are automated, you have continuous monitoring, a centralized data lake, journal entry automation, like I mentioned. And then with all that data, you can perform real-time anomaly detection. Good AI is always going to be grounded in good quality data. If you don't have the underlying data, it's very difficult to apply AI. Then when you take a step back, another way to look at this from my audit days is you have different types of controls or processes to ensure your accounting processes are accurate and reliable. And so you have the transactional level processes, right? And ERPs bring great automation into this space of performing transactions, capturing transactions, appropriate controls, automating those controls. But then when you look, and accountants will know this, there are account-based controls as well, and also ELCs, your entity level controls. And so there's opportunity to, again, good AI starts with good data, and good data that needs to be captured are those other types of controls, account-based and those ELCs. And so having a system in place that does a great job of capturing and then automating and then implementing AI, that is another area in the realm of accountants. And so these topics, where to apply AI, how to apply AI, this is a central theme of our keynote session with our co-founders, Mike Whitmire and Chris Ludy. And to Nicole's point about the TakeControl this year, we're really focused on delivering thought leadership around accounting transformation. I think we're at a really pinnacle point in the profession, as is every profession, to own the narrative of the change upon implementing AI. And so we'll have new product enhancements that our team's been working on. We do, I think, a very good job of reinvesting into our engineering and product team. And so we believe that the next big transformation in accounting is now. And so we're really excited.
Awesome. Anything you want to add to that, Nicole?
I think Jaysen did a great job. I think, touching upon even some more sessions. We have one called AI Agents in Action, where you'll actually get to see one of our customers demo an agent that he built himself with our software, and kind of the backstory of looking at how he and his team looked at all of the different processes that they had, different workflows, and we're like, okay, what's the worst? What are the worst things that we're doing? What's taking the most time? What's the most annoying? Like, it's as simple as that, and looking and seeing, okay, these are the processes that we want to automate, and like, what are the next steps, and how can we use things like agentic AI to help automate workflows and do things that, maybe it was a process you're doing a few times a month. Maybe it takes, usually 8 hours a month, but now you've got it down in seconds. And, that's one example. But what if you're deploying, 10 agents, 20 agents, 30 agents, and what that can look like for your organization?
Neat. All right, let's move on to the human aspect. How do corporate accounting and finance staff and leaders train for automation and AI, and/or how can they adapt? Who would like to take that first?
I can take that first, Jaysen, if you don't mind. The human aspect is absolutely critical when it comes to adapting to automation and AI, especially in corporate accounting and finance. And I know that's something that we hear all of the time, but at FloQast, this is, the center of everything and everything that we're doing with AI. It really, the human is at the center of it. And while technology is really, transforming the way that we work, it's truly the people that are behind the numbers who bring strategy, who bring judgment, and really leadership to the table, and that's not going anywhere. And you mentioned, staff and leaders, and training for automation and AI really means developing a mindset for continuous learning. So it's staying curious about new tools, understanding how to leverage them, and really focusing on the skills that technology can't replace. I think that's one of the most important keys when it comes to training, things, like critical thinking, communication, and decision making, because as we've mentioned, the roles of an accountant are changing. And the number one thing that I think we want you to take away from TakeControl is that you're not in it alone, and FloQast really is here to help. And we want FloQast to be seen as a partner in this whole, transition and shift towards AI. We even have a session called Boardroom Buy-in, Selling Your AI Strategy to Your Stakeholders. And this will show you actual steps that you can take to create an AI plan and strategy for your accounting team. So the goal of the session is, say you hear, in accounting, you should be using AI. Say it's coming from your board. Your board members are like, what are you in every department doing with AI? Say it's your CFO, it's your controller. How can we use AI to automate our workflows? How can we make AI help when we can't, hire a new person this quarter? And it's all about how you can actually make a plan and deploy that plan at your organization. And you'll even have a takeaway with an actual, ebook AI playbook plan to help you go back to your teams and see how you can deploy AI. So we have a lot of really great thought leadership. We have a lot of really great product sessions, but we also have sessions that will help you take action so that, when you wake up the next day after TakeControl, you're ready to start deploying AI. And most importantly, we are also going to announce our brand new certification program within FloAcademy. And if you haven't heard of FloAcademy, it's our online learning platform. It's completely free, and accountants can earn CPE and CPD for free on there. So we're going to have a brand new certification program that's getting announced at TakeControl. This is the first time we're even talking about it. I'm not even sure I'm supposed to be talking about it, but we'll make the major announcement at TakeControl. And this certification program is designed really to up-level accountants and make them experts in AI, automation, and just general accounting practices. So when you're hearing things like AI and agents and things like that, you'll know where to start, you'll be trained, you'll have taken courses, and feel truly confident to take the next step.
Very cool. Jaysen, anything you want to add to the human aspect?
I would just add to the human aspect. FloQast, FloAcademy is a huge part of our platform that Mike has a huge passion for, which is giving back to the industry. Mike and Chris, they really understand the roots of their career was in accounting, and so FloAcademy kind of came out of providing educational materials and broader training resources. I was recently able to reactivate my CPA using solely FloAcademy courses, and so it's just a great place to stay updated on what's going on out there.
Neat, thank you. All right, well, let's get to our next question. The agenda includes the evolving roles of accountants. Please explain, and then a follow-up. Will controllers and CFOs roles evolve? So who would like to take that?
You can start. And so the agenda for the conference dives deeply into how the roles of accountants are evolving. And, it's not just about crunching numbers anymore. It's about becoming strategic advisors who can, interpret the data, tell compelling stories, and really drive business decisions. And yes, the evolution extends to controllers and CFOs as well. So their roles are shifting from being, purely operational to being more forward-looking and strategic. And I know, that's a really generalized blanketed statement and it's different at every organization, but I think that AI is actually truly allowing CFOs to play the role that they were designed to. But CFOs and leaders, they do need to embrace technology because they need to be the leaders in innovation. And so, when you're speaking about, technology like AI, you're really the leader and seen as that. So if you're on board and you're excited about it, it's going to really help get your team excited about it in general as well. And at FloQast, we just really see this as a very exciting time for the profession. And we also see each other, as I mentioned on the last question, I believe that we really want to be a partner, and we see ourselves as, partners with accountants to really help them navigate all of this change.
Agree with that. Jaysen, you?
No, I think Nicole covered that really well.
Okay. Let's move on to our next question. Will automation address the accountant shortage? Or a frequently asked question, will accountants lose jobs from AI?
Yeah, this is a I guess across a lot of other industries. This is a top of mind question. The conversations that I've had with accountants and then also across on our compliance solutions, so the GRC folks, internal auditors, is when you get to like there's just too many nuances to completely eliminate the role, is my thought. You get down to the industry level, the business size level, geographic considerations, cultural considerations, tone at the top, and then the specific talents and knowledge and experience that the accountant brings from their prior knowledge, from their prior experience. That's just too much to completely eliminate. I think when approaching AI, there is the you can ask it to do the high value work for you, drafting memos and taking accounting positions or producing schedules from scratch. And those are all possible use cases. I think what I found is it gets you like most of the way there, but it can't get you all the way. And so the other way to apply AI is also to truly automate those repetitive and very manual processes. And that's something that you want AI to apply to. I don't think that will completely eliminate the role. Yeah, I kind of lost my train of thought there. So if we can cut that out a bit. In terms of
what about the accountant shortage? Will it address that?
Right. So technology will close the gap for the accounting talent gap, but I don't think it will all the way. I think as a profession, we have an onus to transform redefine the profession. Evidently, the way that accounts work today is not conducive to bringing in talent into the profession, and so we're due for redefining the profession. And what is that? I think that's what Take Control. A lot of the sessions you will find are about, is how to elevate the role and redefine to make it something that college kids and new talent that's coming up is able to get into. Another area is almost looking at other professions to feed the talent gap. I don't think technology alone will do it. It will take some redefining of the role itself.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. And I think one of the major points you hit on is like talking about like college students and people going into accounting. And right now, I mean, still the, mindset of becoming like a CPA or an accountant, it's boring, it's repetitive, it's not really like the full picture of what being an accountant truly is. And I think when, people who like this generation are in high school and they're going into college and they're looking at like, what profession do I want to go into in technology? Like back when we were in school, you weren't using a computer, things like that. You didn't have smartphones or even cell phones for a while. And so people use technology all day, every day, and they want roles that they feel like they're like the more techie roles. And I think that the change in seeing like, oh, you want to go into accounting, you're going to be building AI agents and things like that. I think that's going to really excite people. And I think that people are going to be more likely to go into the profession, and the whole, what people's perception of accountants are going to completely change.
I agree with that. We have a webcast coming up in the next few weeks called Accounting and Intelligence, AI. And we're already hitting a record number of registrants. So it's a super hot topic for sure.
Yeah, I love that. My nephew graduated this past year from college, and he actually started his first accounting job yesterday. I need to call him. And, he's so excited, and kind of his perception of accounting like already has changed. And it's funny, the past couple days just watching, like TV or like movies at night twice in the past 2 days, which I was excited about having this interview today. They referenced CPAs as boring jobs, and I think a lot of those were older shows, but I think that's truly all going to change, and I think it already is changing.
I feel like I just came from a family reunion, and my young nieces and nephews talking about their careers and stuff. It's like that movie The Graduate, when the guy said plastics back in the 50s or 60s, and now I'm walking around saying get an accounting degree, because that's where the action's at. So anyways, it's all good. The Take Control conference agenda references 5 ways to automate accounting and how to build your digital accounting roadmap. What are your perspectives on each of these?
I think I'll let Jaysen take that one, because he's been closer to building out some of that content. But I will say I got a sneak peek of it, and there's definitely going to be a lot more than 5 ways to automate accounting in that session and in our other sessions. So don't audit us, but get excited, because there's a lot of really cool stuff.
Right, no, that for sure. Don't audit the number. I think when you look at automation, it isn't just about doing the same work faster. It's considering how can you, with the technology and what it's able to do today, is how to fundamentally change the role. Again, so putting certain things on autopilot. So the session, top 5 ways to automate your accounting, it really gets at, again, what are the most painful, most repetitive aspects of the accounting role. And that also comes from people inside the building. A lot of ex-accountants are in the building, and so that's across product, sales, but even on the front line as well. And so if you're stuck in that reactive manual process, I think this is a really important session for those folks. But it starts with what's the most manual, and so for us, we obviously look at it as a close, and so you get away from like just a manual close checklist and into a dynamic centralized system. When you consider our perspective is the close is the most valuable deliverable that accounts can bring on a repetitive basis over time. And so then there's a human element, which is you get buy-in from your team. And that's going to help you successfully navigate that transformation. And then there's focusing on the actionable takeaways. You have to have a clear plan, align folks internally, so that the AI, this is sort of the window where there's a lot of transformation happening, and so you don't want to miss that opportunity. The other session is that leads into the digital transformation projects. And so a lot of projects actually end up failing. So you need to perform this transformation, but there's a risk that that transformation could fail. As an auditor, I remember process changes were always one of the highest risks. And so when you're doing it, you want to ensure that it doesn't feel so much as a revolution as an evolution, right? So you have to take step-by-step approach into this digital transformation instead of trying to do a whole behemoth of overhaul of your processes. And so taking it step by step, like Nicole mentioned, we had a customer that came in and decided, what's the most manual process that I can automate today? That doesn't mean you go in and automate every single process at once. And so when you're considering these digital transformation projects, mindset is everything. You have to understand AI is not going to replace your role, but it will. But people who educate themselves and get comfortable with AI in their use in daily work, though they will outperform those who don't. And so just like when Microsoft Office Suite came out years ago, those were differentiating skills, and now are more or less table stakes. So we believe that usage of AI will get there as well. But really getting buy-in from key stakeholders. There are certain applications that require broad organizational wide buy-in. Luckily for accountants, it's within your team, people that you work with on a day-to-day. And so view technology is not a complete replacement, but as a way to supercharge your ability, and a dollar spent will bring an ROI that's a greater value from there. Nicole, did you want to finish off the other considerations of that other session?
Yeah, I think you really hit the nail on the head. I think one of the most important things that you said was just around how AI will not, replace your role, but those who educate themselves and embed AI into their daily work will outperform those who don't. And that's why, we're talking about Flowcademy, and we're talking about coming to TakeControl and really learning how you can use AI, how important that's going to be.
Agree with that. And this is the first time I've heard the role accounting transformation. So that's a takeoff on digital transformation. So I like that.
Yeah, I think it's funny you bring up transformation engineers. That's one of the ways that we're viewing that the role itself can transform as well. And so it starts with you have to have good data. So how do you capture good data essentially? And applying a risk-based approach as well. Attacking it from a risk perspective, I found that works really well for compliance folks, but that's how accountants ought to be working as well. Is what are the riskiest areas as well? So kind of applying a framework helps you identify where the automation can exist.
Coming from the former auditor, so the word risk. I'm on the revenue side, so risk isn't, whatever. Let's keep going. Closing thoughts on the future of corporate accounting. What are your thoughts on closing thoughts?
So from my perspective, and just, like my past 4 years working at FloQast, working with amazing, bright accountants at our company, our customers, across thousands of companies, I really believe that the future of corporate accounting is bright and full of opportunity. And we are at this pivotal moment where technology is enabling this shift from the traditional record keeping to that strategic leadership that we were talking about. And at FloQast, we believe that the future of finance, accounting, compliance is really being written right now. And TakeControl 2025 is where we see and we have leaders in this space to speak about, what they're going through right now, the accounting transformations that they're seeing. And we really want people to come to the event to just learn from those who have done it before, or who are currently doing it in the same situation that they are, to gain, AI strategies, practical solutions for the challenges that you're seeing today, and hear from other people on, how they're staying ahead of technology, and really just learning how to, not just adapt and not just kind of like go along with the changes, but really be in that driver's seat and help lead it.
Yeah, absolutely. And to just round that out, a lot of kudos on what Nicole was saying there. It's what we're thinking about on a day-to-day internally. First, Neil, I want to thank you for having us. We're honored to be part of the Controllers for a Cost CPA scholarship fund. And so, really taking back the future of accounting, I think there is a shift in the mindset required. When I look back on my career in the accounting and audit space, 7 years in audit, what I found was the workflow is very well organized at the firm level. You have technology in place that serves you really well on. I know it's a centralized binder. A lot of the sign-offs and the workflow is captured. Review comments are centralized. People can tune in from wherever to perform their work, and it's done centrally. If you have a peer review, it's not this huge behemoth of a process that takes you away from your work that you're doing. It is, handing over a truncated version of the binder. When I went into private accounting, I really found that there were areas of where there was manual work being done, and it was very repetitive, especially on the reporting side, where you're performing the same schedule manipulations and the same grabbing data from third-party systems. And so again, it's not about just doing the same thing faster, but considering how can you fundamentally change the role and apply technology in a space that does a lot of that very manual and costly time out of your day. AI, I don't think will replace accountants again. I think this is an opportunity to, again, apply your own critical thinking to AI. I think there's still a lot of skill and knowledge that accountants bring that is very useful to provide context to AI, to then provide outputs back. But I think where it's better served is, again, in those like very repetitive processes where there's not a lot of judgment required. There isn't a lot of customization to a certain scenario. It's pretty repetitive. And so our new certification program, like Nicole alluded to, is designed to help you do that. And then finally, understanding that it's an evolution, not a revolution. And so you don't, there's a lot of noise in the technology space, which is amazing. I think when you ask professionals from a generation ago, a lot of things were still paper-based. So it's great to see the investment, but with that, understanding that working in software that works with you and works like you'd expect it to goes a long way. And so with that, embrace the change that's happening. It's not going away. I promise you that. And so, like Nicole said, lead the way, own the narrative. As FloQast, we're here to help you navigate it. Like I said, our co-founders are ex-accountants. They come from the space, and that DNA, that tone at the top permeates throughout the organization. So the number one thing is that you're not alone, and FloQast is here to help. So we look forward to seeing you all at TakeControl.
Yeah, well, thanks for that summary. And I would invite all of our viewers and listeners that to really check out this agenda, because I've never seen so many controllers and CFOs that are speaking at one event outside of the Controllers Council. I think you've got a good representation of corporate accounting for sure, and all at this upcoming event. So, so thank you to Nicole and Jaysen for all your really interesting information and insights today. Thanks to our partner and sponsor FloQast, leader in closed management and accounting back office automation and AI. Thanks to our members and attendees. You can register for the Take Control conference at this domain in front of you, flowcast.com/takecontrol. And great luck, Nicole, Jaysen, attendees, great luck in 2025 and beyond, and have a great conference.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You bet.